Oh, Partaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Puranamunina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashaധ്യായിനീം Sambhadvāmanusandadhāmi Bhagavate Bhavaddeshini Namostu te Vyasa Vishalabuddhe Pullaravindayatapatranetra Yena tvaya Bharata Tailapurnaha Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipah Prapanna Parijataya Stotra Vetraikapanaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Tamritaduhe Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Two powerful and most appropriate examples were given in the verses 36 and 37 of this fourth chapter of the Gita that we have been studying for quite a while. The first one was how Samyak Darshana, right seeing, called Jnana here, which is way above Pustaka Jnana, verbal knowledge. It is Darshana. One is able to see. One is able to see the universe and oneself as nothing but Satchit. That right seeing, it is compared, is like a boat, a wide and deep river, and many of these rivers have certain ferocious creatures too, whales, crocodiles or whatever. So it's a dangerous affair, and yet sailing on a boat, people are seen to cross these rivers. Likewise, worldly life is marked by a lot of dangers, a lot of ups and downs. But if one is blessed with Samyak Darshana, one crosses. The reference especially was made to all one's Purva Karma. Sarvebhyaha Papakrittamaha Apichet Sarvam Jnanaplavenaiva Rajinam Santarishyasi. And someone may say, when you go by a boat, yeah, you may cross the river, but everything remains, nothing is destroyed. So to bring a sense of how the results of past karma are destroyed, turned to ash, the second example was given. The second example is of a fire that is well lit. Samyak iddaha samiddaha agni. Just as fire that is with high flames can turn pieces of wood to ash. Bhasmasat kurute Arjuna. Like that, Jnanagni, right seeing, is like that fire. Sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute. From a third party point of view, of course, the phenomenal world continues to exist, and the Jnani also continues to go through prarabdha. Advanced Vedanta clarifies from the Jnani's own point of view all the three karmas. sanchita, agami, and prarabdha are burnt away. They come to an end. Because the root cause of suffering, the identification, is removed. Kartritva, bhoktritva, vimana goes away. So Adi Shankar also in his commentary, he is a little cautious. He says, Nirbijam karoti. Turning to ash does not mean everything utterly vanishes. Rather, our past karma becomes seedless. Seed is what causes the sorrow. So the jnani who has no kartritva has no sorrow, no object caused happiness. His happiness is natural. This we saw last time. Now, five more verses remain. The next three verses, which we shall see in this class, praise spiritual awakening in several ways. On one hand, it is said to be most purifying. On the other, some tips are given to us on our sadhana, leading to jnana. Let's see 38, where the famous line from the Gita, there is nothing as purifying as right seeing or right knowledge is given. Sri Krishna says, Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate tatsvayam yoga sansiddhaha kalenatmani vindati. O Arjuna, jnanena sadrisham. Sadrisha means comparable. Sadrisha means something very similar. There is nothing in the three worlds comparable with this Paramartha Jnana in as much as its ability to purify our life is concerned. So, what is the impurity in our life? Negativities in our bosom. We have often used the word guilt, pride, shame, fear, anxiety, and the Shadurmis or the Shadvairis, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, a number of mental negativities, lack of motivation, lack of interest, being laid back, or being so aggressive, so ambitious, full of personal desires and so on. All these are the impurities. They give us temporary pleasure, but more of unhappiness. We celebrate for a few moments only to end up in a lot of agitation later on. We find sometimes some families becoming very rich and the whole town envies them. But after a while, we come to know, before they were rich, they were so together, loving each other. Now with all this wealth, the brothers don't talk to each other, or the members of the family talk ill of each other, and sometimes they even go to the court over various disputes. So one wonders, what is good? Earlier, poverty was an issue. Now they have wealth, but no peace of mind. Therefore, wealth or talent, some accomplishments, travel, gold, silver, make a long list. All of them do give some happiness to us. We are proud also sometimes of what we have. We compare ourselves with somebody else, and say, oh, we must count our blessings, we have this, we have that. But none of that or none of those gives to us lasting peace. Lasting peace is possible only through Atmanishta. Mochayet sakalan bandhan Atmanishta eva kevalam, goes a saying in Ramana Gita. Atmanishta alone can free us from all forms of bondage. Everything else is a little glitter and glamour. That's all. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram. In Sanskrit, the verbal root punati. Punati means to purify. And pavitra also has come from that root, pavitra, pavana, pavaka, and so on. Puta. Puta is somebody who is purified. Sometimes the name Punita is used. Some boys are named Punita. Technically, it is wrong Sanskrit, but if you say it's not Sanskrit, we created that word by ourselves, God bless you. Otherwise, there is no word Punita in Sanskrit. Punati becomes Puta. Puta means somebody who is purified. Otherwise, verbal form Punati. Punati means X purifies Y. So here Pavitra Shabda has come. Pavitra sometimes is translated as sacred, holy, auspicious. But whatever is sacred, holy, auspicious, why is it called so? Wherever it is, it purifies the place. I met a rich man yesterday in Bombay, and he quoted his guru. His guru advised him, look, you have made money, that is good, but never neglect charity. Do some charity. Certain percentage of your profits should go to charity. And when the young man said, but I will do it, Guruji, but what is the logic of this charity? And I believe his guru, who was no other than Sri Ravi Shankar, well-known guru of modern times, said to him, it seems, he quoted, my Guru Deva, he said, Sri Ravi Shankar, said, charity purifies your wealth. Charity is dhanam, not jnanam. Presently we are talking about jnanam, but here it is dhanam in the quote I am giving. So dhanam itself does so much good. But Sri Krishna's point is, jnanam is way above all other purifying factors. So wealth is purified by some amount of charity, because as simple as this, the wealthy man, all said and done, is a human being. And as a human being, suppose he has gained wealth from the society from various sources, but has not done charity, it's extremely unlikely that the wealthy man will not feel in a corner of his consciousness some guilt, some shame, some sense of, I have been selfish. The moment he spends some amount in charity, it reduces his sense of being selfish. It doesn't eliminate. Finally, jnana only. Nahi jnanena sadrisham. Therefore, do dana, do yajna, do tapaha. Yajna dana tapa karma natyajyam karyameva tat. He says, saying from Gita itself. But yajna, dana and tapa are meant to lead eventually to samyak darshana. The samyak darshana called jnana is the most purifying factor life. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate. Many colleges, universities, other educational institutions have taken this line. sometimes just an abridged version. Nahi jnanena sadrisham. In their logo, in their emblem, they impart various subjects of the world, history and economics, science or languages, arts and commerce and so on. But even there, they draw inspiration from Gita. When you get knowledge, it is of extremely great benefit. Nahi jnanena sadrisham. And Sri Krishna assures every one of us we must walk, continue to walk the path of sadhana. And he uses the word yoga. The word yoga, as we will see more and more, is used in the Gita in a dozen meanings. Here, Adi Shankara himself says yoga can mean karma yoga as well as samadhi yoga. Karma yogena, samadhi yogena cha. All this is yoga. So, at such places, we may also take a safe way to translate. Just say yoga here implies spiritual practices. You and I continue to do the spiritual practices. Some of us may be more into bhakti, some of us may be into more yoga, some of us more scriptural study, some of us serving people, social service, doesn't matter. All of that is yoga. And Adi Shankara is very insightful. He says, karma yogena, samadhi yogena cha. For many people may study, talk, do social service, but they don't sit quiet even for 2 minutes. They are so restless. They are so restless, intellectually restless, or restless in the field of activity. They should be doing something. And for them to be able to do something, they will even drag all their friends. They won't let others also keep quiet. Keeping quiet, remaining still is very hard for lot of people who may have some talent. They have some talent. It could be singing, dancing, speaking, writing, or sometimes it could be organizing various programs, social service events. They may be involved in this club, that club, Rotary, Alliance, or whatever, or spiritual organizations, their secretary, president, etc. Ask them to sit quietly for 10 minutes. They find it difficult. And when they are active in those, they want everybody to join them. They want everybody to give them opportunity. A restless speaker is looking for organizers who will organize his lectures. A restless writer is looking for publishers who will write her speeches or who will publish her poems or essays or whatever. A restless organizer wants talented people and he will put them on the stage. Some singer, come, I will organize your Saturday night with so and so, Hollywood or Bollywood or classical, semi-classical, doesn't matter. But interesting it is. The singer has singing vasanas and this organizer has organizing vasanas. If your singer says, I am not coming next Saturday, take some other singer, the organizer gets agitated. So you wonder what is going on. Is the organizer organizing that musical night really for society's benefit or more to express his vasanas? Both are true. There is an element of social service, then there is also this element of being unable to sit quiet. He has to bring a singer and put on the stage. Then watch. Sometimes the organizer of a music night may not have interest in music really. It's very interesting, human psychology. It's just the pleasure of someone whom I brought and 1,000 people are listening with rapt attention to the music. This person may not. So I need not elaborate. So what is said is, Shankaracharya says, not just karma yoga, that is Ishvara samarpana as well as some service activities, but samadhi yoga. A Tipanakara rightly translates it as dana yoga. Karma yogena, samadhi yogena cha. Put together it is yoga here. So it's a good message for a lot of us who may be busy in many things. We must ask ourselves, are we always engaged in work that interests us, or are we able to sit just quietly without expecting anybody, without expecting any friend to come along and join us in some activity? Can we stay just by ourselves? Pujya Chinmayananji said, you learn to be alone. If you cannot be alone, which means you cannot be with yourself, then that yourself must be such a horrible creature, right? You cannot be with yourself. Why? Maybe you don't like yourself. In that case, with a wit and humor, he said, if you don't like your own company, don't impose it on others. One more reason. If you don't like your own company, don't thrust it on others. Learn to be by yourself. So Samadhi Yoga I found very thought-provoking in Shankara's commentary. And with all patience, Sri Krishna says, Kalena Atmani Vinda. You will get this jnana if you stay put on well-chosen spiritual exercises, one of serving God or serving humanity, serving all forms of life, animals and so on, or serving the cause of environment. Another is calming your mind. Sit down quietly and do not permit the urges in you to hijack you. Shankaracharya gives simple explanation. Some of them are synonyms. Nahi jnanena sadrisham. He says sadrisham means tulyam. Tulyam also means comparable. Pavitram, he gives a synonym. Pavanam. Pavanam is again purifying. Shuddhikaram, one more synonym. And then he says, that kind of knowledge, which is seeing, not just memorizing words, yoga sansiddhaha, yogena sansiddhaha, kratiya tatpurusha we call it, someone who has become truly ready, who has ripened, who has become mature. People spend years and years, decades and decades, remaining childish. They may even earn a lot of money, they may have social status, they might be popular, but those who are very close to them know how childish they are. When we are attached to some habits, we actually become childish. True maturity is freedom from habitual behavior. So, samsiddhaha means when somebody is free from habitual urges. I am the body. Such thinking is the major fundamental habit. I am this personality. You are a singer. Let's say you go on the stage, you sing, and 1,000 people applaud. Thunderous applause you get. And you feel so good. You feel on top of the world. Then you must know that actually that great sense of being on cloud nine came to you because you are tremendously attached to your image, your personality. When 1,000 people applauded, it is the image, successful image. I am so successful, ha ha. Vedanta says this personality which now was so well received by the audience is like a shadow of yours. You are not that. Therefore, see, Samadhi Yoga is very important. Through Samadhi Yoga, this singer, this speaker, this writer, this organizer, this whoever learns to let go of his own attachment to the personality. He lets go of his obsession with how society looks at him, how he himself looks at himself. I am this, I am that, I have come a long way, and a few more steps I have reached, and so on. At some place where I lived for a few years, there used to be a carpenter, and he was doing many things, carpentry and other things. And many times I would come back to my spiritual center, I find him already working at something. So the managing committee would have asked him to repair. His name was Ravi. So I would have come back from some lecture or so. I would look at Ravi and say, "Hey Ravi, how are you doing?" And his answer was very unusual. He wouldn't say fine, doing well, doing good, etc. He always answered me, getting there. Getting there used to be Ravi's answer. Whenever I asked him, how are you doing? I found it very amusing. Getting there, where? But in a way, all of us have that bug in us. We think that one day we'll get there. One day we will be so wonderful, so perfect, so beautiful, so accomplished, this, that, some idea, some vague idea. So Vedanta says, don't say getting there. Try to understand this. It's not just a matter of saying, but it's a matter of seeing. You are there. So I don't know. I have not met Ravi for 30 years now. Maybe he has attended some Vedanta and maybe he is awakened. How do I know? If now I ask him, Ravi, how are you doing? He may smile at me. Swamiji, finally, I am there. Not getting there. I am there. I am there is Vedanta. Getting there is this world. In the world, all of us are trying to get there with our own imagination. But in Vedantic realization, I am there. I am already where I need to be. I am already what I need to be. But that is easier said than done. Therefore, karma yogena, samadhi yogena cha, samsiddhaha bhavet. Samskritaha, refined, purified. Yogyatam apannaha. Don't think Shankara Bhāshya is very hard. Some of these they are there in your own languages too. Yogyatam apannaha. What is samsiddha? Person who was not eligible before has now gained the eligibility. Mumukshuhu. So when one is mature, one really is seeking liberation. Otherwise, one only talks about liberation. What actually one wants is something of the world. But someone who is samsiddha, Adi Shankara so rightly says, is a mumukshu. 999 out of 1,000 people who are into Vedanta, alas, are not mumukshus. They enjoy Vedanta for various reasons. They like it, not that they don't know, like they are just pretending. No, they do like Vedanta. But in the list of their desires, mumukshutva is not on top. Desire for liberation, mumuksha, is not on top. They have many other desires and they want moksha also because they are still childish. Sri Krishna has said before, Kripanaha phalahetabaha. Those who are desirous of some phala in this world, some reward, they are Kripanaha. Kripana there literally means they deserve to be pitied. Kripa. You have to show compassion to them. You have to be sympathetic to them. Alas, with knowledge of so many Upanishads and Gita and Purana and all that, still on top of your list of desires is the desire that maybe the governor of your state may invite you, or maybe some university may call you. Somewhere you may get some recognition along with a nice check also. That is on top. And desire for liberation is Kalena Mahata. Mahata is added by Shankara to a long time. Technically, time may have nothing to do with awakening, but from the phenomenal point of view, nobody gets enlightened in one lecture. They struggle, they study, they clear their doubts, they do more satsanga, they go through a lot of despair, they go through moments when they feel they have not progressed at all. Some other time they feel not too bad, they are okay. Lot of things happen. And Kalena Mahata Atmani Vindati. Jnanam Vindati. One does get the highest knowledge. Then there are two verses which I would say are extremely helpful to us in double checking our sadhana. Where have we gone wrong? Should we improve ourselves? These two shlokas give us insights. Adi Shankara introduces 39. Yena ekantena jnana prapti hoti saupaya upadishyate. Adi Shankara says, Sri Krishna now gives us that upaya, that special means, that special thing to be done or thing to be acquired through which the jnana prapti ekantena, undoubtedly. Ekantena means without missing, like Rama Bana. The arrow of Rama does not miss the goal, miss the target. Ekantena jnana praptihi yena upayena bhavet sa upaya upadishyate. Another famous shloka indeed. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparah sanyatendriyah jnanam labdhva param shantim achirenadhigacchati. Three factors are given as factors that will ensure awakening, that will ensure realization, that will ensure the culmination of all your studies. Otherwise, you have been studying, but you remain halfway somewhere. And these three pointers are extremely true. They are so valuable. Number one, Shraddha. A lot of people who may even attend satsangs do not have Shraddha, either in the teacher or in the scriptures or in God or in themselves. They listen to the lecture with a firm belief that they cannot ever reach there. So they just distance themselves psychologically. They may be aware of it, they may not be aware of it. Leave alone spiritual wisdom. I have noticed this sometimes in secular knowledge also. Sometimes it is sad to see, we must do something about it really. First generation learners, that means their parents were daily wages people, etc. They never went to school and so on. So the children, let's say, have joined some school, maybe some philanthropist has facilitated children to join some school and so on, education for the underprivileged and so on. And the children are wonderful, lovable people. However, because they never saw the role model in their parents or in their elder brothers, uncles, and so on, they have a mindset which is not yet open for receiving education. They rather sitting in the class also I have taught some such classes of rural children and so on. I notice that their eyes are different. They look at us with love, with respect, and they are very ready to do something for us. Suppose in between I say to one of the boys, "Can you get me a glass of water?" Boy is so happy, runs and gets a glass of water. Or I run short of chalk pieces. That happened to me many times when I, as a guest appearance, went to some schools here and there, teaching some Sanskrit or some any subject. Oh, no chalk pieces. Sir, I'll get them. They'll run and get those things because their mindset is so oriented over generations to do work, to do seva, but not to master a subject. So they have the potential. They're very bright also at times, but they have to be helped a little bit. And some, like therefore they say, a ordinary teacher teaches. A good teacher and very good teacher arouses or creates interest in the students in learning the subject. There are such statements, quotations you would have heard. So Shraddha. So it's a very strange psychology. These boys do not believe that they can also be wonderful, educated people and run run the show in some responsible positions in the society. Their mind is so much in the role model of their parents and so on. So this word Shraddha is so significant. Ishvare Shraddha, Gurau Shraddha, Shastreshu Shraddha, Atmani Shraddha, or Shraddha in the subject, Shraddha in an institution, Shraddha in the setting, Shraddha in the country where they live. The 75th Independence Day is coming now in another 5 days. 75th year. Therefore, they're calling it a very special occasion, great Utsava in India. But how many Indians have certain feeling for their country? In fact, it's so unfortunate. At places we find people, Indians, mocking at their own country, looking down, only highlighting some limitations, negativities, which are there, no doubt. But there are lots of good things, lots of adorable things, even now in modern India. Let them talk about both. No, they are hung up with the negativities, maybe corruption or some such thing. So Shraddha. So if you have Shraddha in your country, in your family, and so on, now coming to the theme proper, in Brahma Vidya. I am going to bring Brahma Vidya to top priority in my life. I will reflect on high level teachings. I have the capacity, suppose you say, and engage. For even in your spiritual studies, various messages come towards you. On one hand, moral teaching, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara. On the other, somebody last week said to me that morning she actually read a line from Ramana Maharshi. And that line said, throughout the day, as various thoughts come to you, try to go to the source of thought. And she said, that was so inspiring. And I'm trying whole day, today at least whole day, rather than pursuing thought, as Maharshi Ramana has said, let me see whether I can try to pay attention to the source of thought. Or if I say, I don't know what is the source, let me find out what could be the source of thought. What does Maharshi mean? Even questioning that whole day, as though it is the highest priority in your life. I'm not interested in anything else. Today, by sunset, I must know what that source of thought is. I don't want to get into the contents of thought, which is what normally we do. I want to know the source of thought. And she said, she confessed she could not. Her mind was wandering all over. I said, yes, that happens because it's one thing to study Brahma Vidya, but quite another to take the messages of Brahma Vidya seriously. After the class is over, everybody gets so busy with countless mundane matters. So, Shraddha is a certain quality of mind, belief, faith. These are the translations. So, Shastreshu Guruvakyeshu Satya Buddhya Avadharana, says Viveka Chudamani. This should be true. This is not imagination. This statement of the Shastra, this statement of this Guru has to be true, and so on. That sense of Satya Buddhi, that is Shraddha. Now, very logically, Sri Krishna adds, Shraddha alone is not enough, though it does lot. Tatparaha. There are some people who have faith, for example, in a guru, and they are there with that guru for last 40 years. They have not left him. But how come they are still dragging on, not really transformed? They may not be tatparaha. They hang on to the Guru. They have faith in the Guru. They have faith in the Vedanta. They have faith in Ishwar also. In during puja, they participate. We can see they are very Shraddhalus. But they are not Tatparaha, meaning there is no sharp focus. They actually are dealing with many things during the day. After the 1 hour satsang, they get into their car, rush to maybe their shop, and they are interested in chasing more and more profit. Many things. So that sense of single pointedness and being ready to sacrifice other goals, even among many people living in ashrams, it is absent. They are in the ashram, but they are not tatpara. They may have so many other interests. And moment they get a little freedom, there is no class, no one asking, no homework given, they will go more into those things. Sometimes it may be to improve the infrastructure of the ashram. Sometimes it may be service, seva karma. They don't deny. But this towards this jnana, there is no intense engagement. Therefore, they pull on, they keep dragging on. There is no serious or significant transformation. Interestingly, Sri Krishna gives a third dimension. Some people may be having Shraddha and they have actually resigned their job, closed their shop. Some of them have left their family also. So a kind of tatparata is there. But problem is they don't have self-control in the context of different sense organs. They are quite into pleasure seeking. Then even if you have Shraddha, even if you are fairly focused, you have given up many things, but your personal life, your private life is much into pleasure seeking. Therefore, third is Sanyatendriya. Interestingly, these are the three qualities which can help students of schools, colleges also tremendously, with slightly adapted form. Don't say Brahma Vidya, but the pursuit of knowledge in their colleges, in their schools. I was once at IIT Bombay in a small gathering, maybe 50 people, and I spoke on who am I, half an hour, 40 minutes. And Professor Mishra was the director of IIT Bombay. He was also present on the stage, nice of him, kind of him. And at the end, he had to speak for 5 minutes. It seems that my talk on who am I went above his head, which is okay. They are technical people, technology people. But he was listening. Okay, Swami is talking of who am I? I don't know what. Who am I? Why should we ask who am I? And he, in his 5 minutes, said to all the students, mainly there were students, a few staff members. He said, we are happy today. Swamiji has come from Powai Ashram, our own Powai. IIT in Bombay also is in Powai. Come from Chinmaya Ashram and spoken on who am I. We were thankful to him, all that he did. But then he said, okay, never forget. Ashok Mishra, I remember his full name. Professor Ashok Mishra, director, said, I fully respect Swamiji's view and his elaboration, though I have not fully understood, something like that, he said. But if you ask me more than who am I, all of you students should daily ask yourself, what am I here for? What am I here for? Because as a director and a professor and educator, he perhaps noticed that a lot of students after getting into the IIT do not have the focus. They got into IIT now, so easily they won't get thrown out unless they fail in multiple subjects. So please, you have come to such a advanced institution. Remember always what you are here for. You are here to gain not ordinary, excellent knowledge of your technological subjects. But it's true. A lot of students in IITs, just that's a different topic altogether. They would have worked very hard to get into the IIT, then they say, we are fed up of studies. They take things easy. So, even students, and for that matter, everywhere, Sanyatendriyaha, and Dhanam Labdva Param Shanti Madhigachan. One attains supreme peace only, only is implied only through Brahma Vidya. Everything else leaves behind some unfinished job. Shankara says, Shraddhavan means Shraddhaluhu. Shraddhaluhu. Labate Jnanam. Shraddhalutve api. Even if someone has faith, Bhavati Kaschit Manda Prasthana. They go so slowly. Why? Because in between they are doing many other things. They are doing many other things. They rush to their room, let's say in an ashram, after the class or after breakfast. The way they rushed with their Gita or Upanishad book, somebody may imagine that in their room they will be reviewing or studying again or meditating on what they studied that morning. But quite possibly, moment they go, if they have a single room, they may close the door. And who knows, they may have some biscuits, some chocolates with them, maybe. Or they may have a detective novel in their, I don't know, something. They may have some other interest. And if the ashram has permitted internet, they may watch some video on latest on some Russia-Ukraine war or ED, an enforcement directorate going behind Sonia and Rahul, etc. They may check. I'll get back to Gita, but let me check what is the update. Then they don't have Tatparata. They lost the focus. They were inspired in the class. When the Guru taught Gita, they said, my God, this is what I want to do. The moment they come to their room, their focus got disturbed. They are trying to do something else. So it could be sometimes some scholarly pursuit also. I remember when I was a brahmachari, I was so interested in Sanskrit. I'll come to my room and I was asked to teach Sanskrit to my own batch also in the second year. And that excited me. After breakfast till about 10 o'clock, I would prepare for my Sanskrit class. And it went off well also. That was high priority. Brahma Vidya we'll see later. So all of us have our own, what you call, distracting factors. Things distract us. So Tatparaha Guru Upasadanado Abhiyuktaha Dana Labdhi Upaye. So if you have the focus, then you will be just pursuing the teachings of the Guru. Teachings of the Guru, not some old vasana of yours, right? Then somebody is Shraddhavan, somebody is Tatpara also, but suppose Ajitendriya, Indriya Sanyama, she or he doesn't have God. Self-control, she lacks, let us say. So, evam bhutaha, therefore, three things that we ought to have, and the absence of them also was touched upon, how it can derail our train. Shraddhavan, Tatparaha, Sanyatendriyascha. When all three are in us, Jnanam labate, labate eva, definitely. Then an earlier shloka said, no, tad vidhi pranipatena. You can gain knowledge by going and falling at the feet of gurus. Shankara himself says that pranipata, etc. is utterly secondary. Prostrations, falling, sashtanga namaskar, pranipata adistu, bahyaha, anaikantika. It doesn't guarantee realization. Whereas the Shraddha and Tatparata and Indriya Sanyama are sure shot. Because this Pranipata, Sashtanga Namaskara and 100 things, Shankara says, Maya Vitvadi Sambhavat. Without the person knowing also sometimes it could be hypocritical. It may not be genuine. Whereas Shraddha by definition, Shraddha is not external. It's directly we are talking of an internal quality. Whereas Pranipata is an external gesture. Therefore, Shraddha, Tatparata, Indriya Sanyamasya, Ekantataha. Ekanta here means definitely, unfailingly. Anta means end. That is the only end where it will reach. Anaikantika means you release the arrow, instead of hitting the target, it went somewhere else. Ends are many. Here, what you aimed at alone will be caught. Therefore, Shraddhavan labate. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.